Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel and our first sit down of Cop Talk with Bear. For this first episode, we'll have just myself, Bear315. We'll be going over some of my own background, why this particular segment of video, what the game plan will hold, and some of my own XP. Hope you enjoy. Hey guys, just real quick. Remember, if you like the content and you want to help out the channel page, leave a like. Also, feel free to share the video with friends, family, co-workers, someone who just simply might enjoy the video, or someone who needs to hear the content. Also, subscribe to the channel. That's definitely going to help us out. And if you don't want to miss out on any of the future content, hit the bell notification. You'll be notified of any future video that comes forward from this channel. Thank you, and we'll get back to the video. .315 dispatch. I'll be 1041.
10-4, 315.
.315 dispatch on 1076.
10-4, 315.
Some of my own background, just to cover some of the basics. Stuck my foot in the door into law enforcement about the end of the year of 2012. Worked for 4 different sheriff's offices since then. Graduated the academy in 2014. Yeah, some of you older school guys. Young buck, I know, blah, blah, blah. Did about 4 years in the jail. I've worked 1 prison, did about 1 year there, so about a total of 5 years of babysitting other people's children. Fun times. A little over 6 years on the patrol side. Current sheriff's deputy here in Texas, born and raised, so just covering some basics there. Why this particular segment of the channel with Bear, or Cop Talk with Bear, and the plans for the channel, just correlating one together, and I've been tossing the idea about this channel, or this segment of the channel, for quite some time, and not till here recent, this year in 2025, we had to take this mandatory mental health class. I think it was statewide for sure, probably nationwide. I don't know. One of you guys from another state can holler out and let me know. I had to take classes like this before, normal. This one came up. I don't recall if it's yearly or not. Anyway, regardless. Took it, covered your normal basics, everything that you figured it would end up covering, the topics for mental health, especially from the law enforcement side of things, yada yada. One thing in particular that frustrated me was that it felt like they said one sentence on it, they just touched it, and they moved on quickly, was the spiritual side of things, the faith base, the spiritual warfare side of it, if you will. That's my take on it. But on they touched the faith basis on it. I get why they did not go into it deeply, because that's going to open up a whole nother can of worms. Politics, blah, 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 whatever. Get it. Fine. I'll divulge into it and let others express on it. Me personally, I believe that should have been at the forefront of the mental health class thing. Me. My personal experience, and with what I believe, I believe that there's spiritual warfare happening on 24/7 all around us, and it affects us. And based on what we do with our free will, and with what we say and the actions that we take, it affects the spiritual realm of things, and so vice versa. So we don't necessarily see the battle happening 24/7. We don't necessarily see the angels and demons 24/7. that's a whole different topic on people that do. But the effects of such, we can see some of those effects and what it does and how it affects us, and in our day-to-day lives. Needless to say, with that and with that concept and with that knowledge, applying that to your day-to-day life, and especially with our life choice of our employment, with our career choice, and with what we do and deal with on a day, I highly encourage you as an individual to remember to pray. Pray daily. Pray that God, that Adonai places his armor on you from head to toe on all sides around. That, in fact, Ed and I pray and ask that you place your armor on us from head to toe on all sides around. Pray and ask that you continue to go out before us, beside us, and behind us. I pray and ask that you continue to send legions of your angels equipped and prepared to do battle surrounding us and on guard and ready to fight at a moment's notice. Pray and ask that your messengers be able to continue to travel back and forth freely without delay or conflict on their journeys. Pray and ask that your hands of shalom, peace, and protection continue to be placed over your messengers, over your angels, and over us, Adonai. I pray and ask that you continue to go out before us, leading, guiding, and directing us, placing us at the right place at the right time, and saying, do as you command. I pray and ask that you continue to destroy the enemy's plans and traps and remove them from the path that you have set out before us, Adonai, that only your plans for us succeed. I pray and ask that you continue to open our eyes and our ears and our hearts and our spirits and our minds and flesh and bones towards you, your word, and your truth. I pray and ask that this reaches those that it needs to, Adonai, that your spirit continues to flow through us and about us, that this reaches those that it needs to, Adonai, and that you continue to work on and speak to all of us, Adonai, and that you continue to help us on our day-to-day, and that you continue to bless us, Adonai. Pray and ask that you continue protect us and keep us safe, that we have a safe and blessed day-to-day and safe travels with no issues, troubles for us or our vehicles, and no accidents, Adonai. And pray and ask that we get to work and back home safely and back to our families and our loved ones. And pray and ask, Adonai, for you to help me through with this recording on this first video, and that this whole process, this whole thing I give to you, Adonai, and helping and where it goes and where this all leads to, Adonai. In your name, in the name of Yeshua Mashiach, I pray and ask, amen. And thank you guys for praying with and agreeing to. As I was saying, going into the reasoning why, that mental health class, along with the suicide rates, and seeing fellow law enforcement and fellow first responders, emergency responders, and even those in the nursing field, our vets, those in military service current as well, and just in the general public and the populace, just y'all too, the suicide rates on individuals, and seeing that everyone, they all have their reasons why, fine, but seeing some how they think that's the only way, that just no one cares, that's their only way out, is the end, them giving up, and etc., whatever, all the excuses. But for them to believe the enemy and believing the enemy's lies and deceptions and whispering all that crap in their ear, and them not getting up and getting back on that horse, and something I tell fellow law enforcement officers and people even in the public personally, I've told them, don't let the enemy kick you while you're down. dust yourself off, get up, get back on the horse. The spiritual warfare realm of things, the suicide, the mental health, it all correlates together with the spiritual warfare side of things. Me personally, I mean, my experience, other officers' experiences, and those even in the EMS realm of things, other individuals I've talked to, and you yourself, how many of you have gotten a call or dealt with a call and going into someone else's home or dealing just with an individual on the street and realizing and getting that spiritual effect of realizing there's a demonic presence, or you just feel that heavy enemy presence on the enemy side of things? Me personally, case in point, I went to take a report, dealt with the call, was gathering information. Even before I got into the home, I felt this presence and on the spiritual realm of things and knew that there's this demonic side of things there. Go in and I instantly picked up on, was feeling like witchcraft type stuff, and was getting some information. I was like, hey, let's talk outside. So we talked outside. Excuse me. Got out of there, finished up my report and gathering my information, left. Had someone do a ride along with me later, and they're more keen on sensing on picking up on that sort of stuff. So without saying one word or mentioning it, whatever, that we were even there, I was on patrol, doing my patrol route, and we actually drove by the house, and without, saying anything about it, that it was that house or whatever, before we even passed it, they pointed out and said, that house deals in with witchcraft. And they just instantly, and I was like, it wasn't just me. Okay. And then, a little later, get even more confirmation on it. Talking to someone else in the public, another individual, and they admitted, oh yeah, no, they dabble in the witchcraft at that house. It's like, all right. So again, it's out there. It's happening 24/7, regardless if you believe in it or not. It's there. Feel on it, cry about it, whatever, one way or the other. I know it's there. Personal experiences, I know it's there. Even without the experiences, faith-wise on what I believe, it's there. It's happening. And I'm sure many of you know what I'm talking about and have experienced something very similar too. I mean, even if you haven't gone to a home in your time frame of you being in that certain field, or just being just on the public side of things, dealing with an individual, and you get a call about, someone having a mental health issue, or someone that's, mentally ill, or they got this mental illness or whatever. And I'm not saying that in all cases that's BS. I think that there is times that an individual, there's something mentally going on with that individual. Yes. But also there's times that people get classified as having a mental issue, illness, and it's a demonic issue instead. How many of y'all have come across that? Me personally, come across it a few times. Even one guy just flat out admitting that, he knew there was demons and stuff that he was seeing, and talking to him, and he would literally turn and yell at them and tell them to shut up, that he's talking to me, and he would turn around and tell them to shut up, and I'd encourage him, yes, power of the tongue. Yeah, tell him to shut up. No. And so, I talk with him, and he might have had some other actual mental illnesses, but being out there and dealing with the public, some individuals, they have some of them are dealing with some demonic issues, or they have some demonic forces attached to them, or whatever the case. We can dive into that all another time if y'all want. Um, but the mental health, along with the suicide thing, spiritual factor into it, highly encourage. I highly encourage everyone to remember to pray. And remember to pray God's armor on you from head to toe and all sides around daily, especially before you go out to shift. You know, when you wake up, give thanks that Adonai's given you life for another day, allowing you to wake up. And pray and ask that His armor is placed on you. And if you forget, as soon as you remember, pray. And if you've forgotten you didn't pray yesterday, say, pray. You know now that I'm praying and knew that I'd pray today, and I pray that from yesterday and all days past and today and all days to come. I highly encourage it. Along with the mental side of things, with the mental health for fellow officers, for first responders, for the servicemen and women, and those even in the public. I encourage you to find someone to talk to vent to. Before I get into that, also for the whole segment of why this particular segment of the channel, not just for the first responders and servicemen and women and us in these particular fields, but also for the public, for y'all to actually see the flip side of the coin, stuff that y'all never see or hear or even think about. Or there's still times I talk to family and about something and they're like, I had no idea that y'all were the ones that had to deal with that, or really y'all that happens, or whatever the case. Not everybody knows, and not everybody sees the flip side of the coin of things, especially for the emotional side. We're accused a lot of y'all are cold-hearted people and heartless and no emotions and y'all don't care and all this other crap. No, not particularly. We're all human. We all bleed red. And yes, there are some people that are just assholes. And no, I'm not sugarcoating it. There are bad apples in every field out there. There's going to be some bad apple people here and there for whatever reason. Not to say that we're all heartless, that we all don't care. No. When it comes down to it, we're the ones that are, we're taught, trained, told over and over again, and to train ourselves and to pre-think things through and do all this stuff to be the ones focused, to be calm and clear and handle business and do what we need to do and get the job done while chaos is ensuing all around us. With that, we don't get to always express our emotion at that point in time. Henceforth, people think we don't care, we have no feelings, and just whatever. No, that's not always the case. We're taught and trained to take that emotion and suppress it down and can it and deal with that later. Or sometimes told never to deal with it. And ever since I've been through the years I've gone through since the academy and everything, I've always been told and taught, yes, mental health is a thing. Be sure you take care of you, which, yes, I agree. You need to take care of yourself as well. In doing so and dealing with certain traumatic events and just stuff that we deal with. Talking about it, yes, absolutely. You talking about it more and more, it helps, but that's taking your first foot forward, is talking about that ordeal or that situation, having debriefs on certain key events and things, I think I would encourage, especially with departments, for that shift or whoever was involved on something very jacked up. Have a debrief. Talk about it. Talk to your guys about it. Have them at least do a debrief so they, without realizing it, yeah, they took that first step forward and they talked about the situation without, whatever, and they're just replaying it all. That you're talking about it. But as you talk about it more and more, it becomes easier to talk about, but also something that I had forgotten personally was the emotional side of things. I talked about there's a few different situations that I've dealt with on calls. There's a few events, things that I've dealt with on a call, and I talked about them and continuously, and I thought I was good, thought I handled it, didn't bother me. I didn't feel bothered. It's like, hey, I'm able to talk about it just fine. I'm good. And I wasn't. It wasn't till way later that one evening I blew up on somebody, and I absolutely felt like shit for blowing up on them. I felt like crap. To me, they didn't deserve that. I'm glad they were able to let me vent and get all that raw core emotion out. But it was just pure vomit of the mouth and just all that core emotion just coming out, and it shocked me, surprised me, and while happening, I'm realizing, oh crap, this was affecting me this whole entire time and I didn't realize it, or this was a bother, or this was an issue for me, in some form or way that, I didn't let those emotions out that whole entire time, and I completely forgot about it, and I blew up on the individual, got it all out, and it sucked. I felt bad. Felt better after that blow up, but I felt bad for the individual taking it all, just hitting them out of nowhere. So again, yeah, you hear the phrase, don't go home, kick the dog, yell at the wife and kids, and blah blah blah. Don't. Find a healthier way on dealing with stuff. I highly encourage that. Find someone that you can confide in and talking to, and if you need to, just tell them, look, I don't need you to say one thing. I don't need you to respond. I don't need you to say anything. All I need you to do is please just listen to me and let me vent and let me get this out. And even if emotions come up, I'm not mad at you. I'm not angry at you, whatever the case. If these different emotions come out or whatever the case, just listen. Do that, whatever the case. And I know it's talked about quite often that, those in the similar service as to what the individual's field of work is, they'll seek out someone else that's in that same field. I've heard of law enforcement and military guys, seeking one another and talking about those incidences and venting out to one another about certain situations that they've dealt with. Find somebody. Talk to somebody, confide in your wife, your best friend, find somebody that you can do. And I know there's another saying about, it's easier for an individual to completely open up to a complete stranger. Yeah, that's true too. Find someone you can talk to. That's the best I can say for you. Doing so, do not forget about the emotional side of things. And quite often, I think a lot of us do forget about the emotional side of it because, we're told to can it, and we debrief and we talk about the situation, or we bring it up. Hey, you remember blah blah blah, and yeah, whatever. And we continuously talk about it, but we don't ever actually deal with the other flip side of the coin, and sometimes we forget all that emotion. the dark sense of humor. Many of y'all know what I'm talking about. For those that don't, especially those in the public, you may have heard of responders in earshot and heard them inappropriately talking about whatever situation they're dealing with or making an inappropriate joke. There's a reason for it, and I'm sorry if you've heard it. And if you've heard me, I'm guilty of it too. If you've heard me inappropriately say something at the time, I'm sorry. It's not without reason. It correlates with the fact that we're dealing with something traumatic, or it just go alongside with other stuff that we've dealt with traumatically for that officer, that individual, and he might crack up and make an inappropriate joke or a dark sense of humor and bring something up, and we can't divulge into our emotion side of breaking down or crying or whatever the case at that time. So instead, we make an inappropriate joke and end up laughing about it and whatever else the case, so we don't lose our crap. And it's a mental twist in our head of not losing our crap and staying focused and being able to push ourselves and continue to do what we need to do. I don't know if there's a complete and full out definition and a better explanation of it, but there's my take on it. Someone else, ask someone, and they might explain it to you better. Something that'll be coming up on episode 2. I'll be having my first guest for for this segment of this channel. Guy previously worked with me. He's my partner for quite some time. Helped train him whenever he first came in for a little while. And there's a post that he had brought up that I'd seen, and I'll see about either bringing it up now or I'll wait till the next episode. But to tell you, it was an officer standing there, and his wife was embracing him, and she asked, anything happened today? And he says, no, nothing. And then it shows mind thoughts of things that he dealt with, like a dead body and some other things, and him just mentally drained and all this other stuff. And he didn't open up. He didn't confide. He didn't say nothing. I'm not telling you what to do or how to do it. It sounds like, I don't know. Everyone's situation's different, and I get it. I can say for me, I know that I can confide in my wife and being able to open up and talk to her and vent to her if I need to. And I know I got other individuals, other officers, and people that I can open up to and vent to if I need to talk to them about it. And I highly encourage that you have someone to do that with. If you can, with your wife, open up and tell her, talk to her. That's up to you, or vice versa, your husband. Find someone that you can talk to. I can't say it enough, and I'm sorry that I'm repeating myself, but you need to open that up. You need to vent so you don't explode, so you don't, listen to the enemy's voices continuously in your head and have all that emotion and all that stuff stored up. It could come out very badly for you as an individual. The possibilities are out there. You pick up unhealthy habits and go down a bad road and handle shit poorly and get yourself into trouble, lose people that you love and care about, and just all this other crap. Like I say, it opens up a whole bad road. And not to say that it would happen. I pray that it does not. However, other people have experienced that, and I hope that you do not. And I don't want you to. Instead, I want you to pick up healthier ways on being able to handle things and to be able to open that up at the right time and place and appropriately, and to handle it correctly, to handle it better in a healthy way. For those out there, I want y'all guys to know that y'all aren't alone. It's not just you. You're not alone. You're not the only one dealing with whatever it is that you're dealing with. Other people have either dealt with it very similarly or very close to exactly what it is that you're going through, and there might be someone that's exactly dealt with what you're dealing with. Every case is different, I get it, but there are some similarities. And as far as like, call wise of things that we've had to deal with as responders, other people have as well, and that's why I want to bring other people on, letting them express what they've dealt with, and let them express and share with what they dealt with, how they dealt with it, and the effects that it had, and to let other people know, look, you're not alone. Other people dealt with this. Don't fall for the enemy's traps, and don't fall for the enemy's lies. You're not alone. Get up, dust yourself off, and get back up on that horse. Realizing that I need to deal with the emotional side of things, and now, knowing what that feels like when blowing up and not dealing with it, and had forgotten about it all, I realized, now, yeah, I need to there's talking about a situation and going through it on the mental side of things, but also the emotional side of it, and letting that out, and having that moment of, that really jacked me up, that was really upsetting, whatever, or that really pissed me off, or whatever, and just letting out that emotion and getting it out there and not keeping it bottled up. Now that I know and recall, there's times that as I've gone on, at times it's hard to let the emotional side of things out. And some of y'all might have experienced this as well. Dealing with the situation later, days off, I'm like, okay, I know that I need to let that out and deal with it, because that sucked, that was rough, that was jacked up, whatever the case. And I'm like, cool, I got this time to myself. I can pray, I can sit right here, cool. Nothing. Can't let it out. I won't. Nothing happens. I can't. It's hard to force. There's been times I've been able to, and there's been plenty of times I have not. And usually it's, I'm thinking about stuff or whatever, and it's usually whenever I'm driving now, recalling things or whatever, and the emotion is there or whatever, and I'm like, I'm by myself, my wife ain't with me, no one's with me, and I can just let all that raw emotion out and handle it. Whatever works for you, in a healthy way. The most recent thing I can think of is death notifications. Those can be rough, and definitely no joy in doing that. Going and having to tell someone that a loved one has passed away. I've experienced people not giving two shits. There are people that absolutely expected it, and happened. They lasted longer than what they thought, or just complete shock and awe, and just totally out of the blue. And some of those they're really rough to give out. Most recent one, I had to notify the mother that her daughter had passed, and it was quite upsetting, to say the least. I was able to keep the tears down and try not to express and feed off that emotion, and I was able to fight the tears, and it was good. And while we're trying to leave, or while we're leaving, a family member went to the lady that had passed also had a daughter that was there with her grandmother, and one of the family members went to break the news to the daughter, young juvenile, and that sucked. Did not get out of there quick enough. Alright. Like I say, not fun. The there's been other calls of dealing with, I mean, jacked up situations, things people go through and are dealing with. I've worked plenty of deaths, from traffic accidents to suicides to just a variety of things, and some of those were some of the stuff that were bothering me on the emotional side that I didn't deal with, that I didn't realize, and that were still an issue. And we can divulge into those. Particularly, I'll share one for episode 2, and with the other officer that I'll have on, and we'll go into that into more detail. But like I say, guys, find someone to talk to, vent out. Don't forget the emotional side of things. Don't keep that stuff bottled up. You run the risk of blowing up on somebody that did not deserve it and might not even understand what's going on. That's what I was worried about. They understood whenever I blew up. That's why they continued just to listen and let me get it out of my system. But you don't want to do it on someone who's not expecting it or knowing what it is or what's going on and just having zero clue, and a loved one, a family member, or whatever. Find someone you can talk to. Find some healthy ways on being able to handle stuff. Do not forget to pray. I highly encourage that. I say soon. Episode 2 will be coming hopefully sometime shortly, not too long, and we'll go from there. See about having another guest on, sharing stories and experiences and things, and seeing if that reaches out to any of y'all, and helping y'all know that you're not alone. This is stuff we dealt with, and for people to learn and people to experience and have a better understanding. So that's it for now, guys. Y'all take care, stay safe, don't forget to pray, and I'll see y'all next time. Shalom. 315 dispatch, 1028, 1042.
10-4, 315.
Take a note. Dark sense of humor.